Today I will talk on traumatic dislocation of the hip joint. Traumatic dislocation of the hip is an orthopedic emergency. The incidence is increasing because of increase in the accidents. Up to 90% of the times it is because of the motor vehicle accidents. Post dislocation complications, morbidity, particularly femoral head necrosis, are related to severity of the injury, skeletal maturity, and duration of dislocation. Prompt gentle reduction within 12 hours remains the cornerstone of successful therapy. 50% of hip dislocations are associated with the fractures. Vascularity compromise leads to the head infarction, chondrolysis, and degeneration of the joint. Length of the time between dislocation and reduction depends the aseptic necrosis. If it is reduced within 6 hours, necrosis chances are 5%. If it is more than 6 hours, the necrosis chances are almost 50%. It is coming to the classification. The posterior constitutes almost 85%, anterior 10 to 15%, central is rare, and in the center there is a medial displacement of the femoral head secondary to displaced acetabular fracture, and it carries a poor prognosis. Classification of posterior dislocations. Thompson and Erskine classified into 6 types. Type 1 with or without minor fracture. Type 2 with a large single fracture of the posterior acetabular rim. Type 3 with a comminution of the rim of the acetabulum with or without a major fragment. Type 4 with a fracture of acetabular floor. Type 5 with a fracture of the femoral head. This picture shows posterior dislocations type 1, type 2 and type 3. In this picture you can see type 4 and type 5 dislocations and position of the limb in the posterior hip dislocation. It will be adducted, internally rotated and flexed, and there will be a shortening. Pipkin subclassification of posterior dislocations. Type 1 posterior dislocation of hip with a fracture of the femoral head caudal to fovea centralis. Type 2 posterior dislocation of the hip with a fracture of the femoral head cephaloid to fovea centralis. Type 3 type 1 and type 2 with associated fracture of the femoral neck. Type 4 type 1, 2, 3 type 1, 2 or 3 with associated fracture of acetabulum. In this diagram you can see femoral head fracture with a posterior dislocation type 1 to 4. Classification of anterior dislocation. Type 1 F10. Superior dislocations includes pubic and subspinous dislocations. Type 1 has been subclassified into A, B, C. Type 1A, no associated fracture. Type 1B, associated fracture of femoral head. Type 1C, associated fracture of acetabulum. Type 2, it is inferior dislocation. It includes obturator, thyroid and perineal dislocations. Type 2A, no associated fracture. Type 2B, associated fracture of the head. Type 2C, associated fracture of acetabulum. In this diagram, you can see anterior dislocation type 1. In this diagram, you can see anterior dislocation type 2. In this diagram, you can see superior type of anterior dislocation and inferior type of anterior dislocation. Position of the limb can be seen in both the diagrams. Central dislocation. Acetabular fracture with a protrusion of hip into pelvis. It is a high energy injury. This is a classification of central dislocation. There are two classifications, Rowe and Lowell, and another one is Carn-Seil. Carn-Seil is simple one, type 1, 2, 3. In type 1, there will be a central dislocation without involvement of weight-bearing dome of acetabulum. Type 2, central dislocation with a fracture or a displacement of weight-bearing dome. Type 3, acetabular disruption often associated with posterior subluxation of the hip joint. Coming to the mechanism of the posterior dislocation. The type of the dislocation depends upon the position of the limb at the time of injury. The hip is flexion, adduction and or interrotation in simple posterior dislocation. Flexion and abduction in a posterior superior rim of acetabular fractures. Retroversion of the femoral neck is more common in a posterior dislocation. Pathological features of a posterior dislocation. This constitutes almost 85% of the hip dislocations, common in young, male and after road traffic accidents, frequently associated with the posterior wall fractures. Compromise of the external iliac and common femoral arteries and circumflex vessels can be seen in some patients. Sciatic nerve palsy is associated with the 10 to 14% of the cases. You can see associated PCL injuries in some patients, and complications are osteonecrosis and post-traumatic arthritis. In 10 years, almost 33%, and in 30 years, 75% develop arthritis of the joint. Mechanism of anterior dislocation. This constitutes almost 10 to 15% of the traumatic dislocation of the hip. Dashboard injury, fall from height, blow to back in a squatted position causes anterior dislocation. In the inferior type, hip abduction, external rotation and flexion. Superior type, hip abduction, external rotation and an extension. 85% of the patients will have indentation of the femoral head. Complications of anterior dislocation. Early complications are neurovascular complications. These are common in superior type compared to the inferior type, and irreducibility. Better to try reduction under anesthesia. If there is a difficulty, open it and reduce the dislocation. Late complications of anterior dislocations are post-traumatic arthritis, aseptic necrosis and recurrent dislocation. Complications of posterior dislocations are sciatic nerve palsy, irreducible posterior dislocations, missed knee ligament injuries and recurrent dislocations. For reduction, you can utilize conscious sedation or anesthesia, general anesthesia. Patients whose hip have been dislocated more than 6 hours are at a risk of failure with a sedation, and they are good candidates for general anesthesia. Traumatic hip dislocation in pediatric patients, less common. They constitute almost 5% of all pediatric dislocations, result from high energy trauma. Spontaneous relocation of hip dislocation is frequent. Dislocated hips should be emergently repositioned under general anesthesia. MRI is indicated after reduction, and in patients after spontaneous relocation, if a labral interposition is suspected in plain radiographs. Prognostic factors. Complex dislocations are associated with a poor functional outcome. Strong association between the intra-articular fragments and osteoarthritis. Is there any role of MRI in dislocations? MRI has got a role. Missing chondral or osteochondral fragment in the CT scan does not exclude a labral lesion or interposition. Therefore, MRI following close reduction is mandatory in any case. Nerve injuries are common in hip dislocations. Incidence is approximately 10% in adults, 5% in children. Peroneal branch is most often injured. Can be seen after all types of posterior fracture dislocations. Prompt close reduction must be attempted. At least partial recovery of the nerve function occurs in 60 to 70% of the patients. No clear correlation with the injury or treatment type. Rehabilitation should be as early as possible. Should focus on the prevention of the equinus foot deformity. Long-term results reduced by closed methods within 3 hours. Important factors in the long-term prognosis appear to be the direction of the dislocation and overall severity of the injuries. If it is reduced within 3 hours, it carries a good prognosis, and the short associated total severity of the injury determines the long-term result. There was a paper in Journal of Trauma in 2003 on long-term follow-up study. Associated injuries are found in 44 cases. Almost 70% of patients had a associated injuries. 71% patients had a very good or good to medium results. 16% patients developed late post-traumatic osteoarthritis of the hip joint. 9.6% patients developed osteonecrosis of the femoral head. Time between injury and reduction and the associated injuries are the most important factors in the long-term prognosis. Good results were obtained in patients with the early, stable, accurate reductions by either closed or open methods. Avascular necrosis of the femoral head was found in 4.8% of the hips, reduced within 6 hours, and in 52.9% of the hips reduced more than 6 hours after the injury. This study was published in Ortho Trauma Surgery 1986. Significantly higher incidence of avascular necrosis was found in grade 3 and grade 4 dislocations than in grade 1 and 2 dislocations. They could not demonstrate any benefit from skeletal traction or a non-weight bearing. The age of the patient was of no importance.